One Reacher Season 3 scene proves Neely's spin-off has already overcome the Alan Ritchson series' biggest villain problem. When Reacher first premiered on Amazon Prime, it was a fresh breath of gritty crime action grounded by Alan Ritchson's towering presence as Jack Reacher. Season 1, adapted from Killing Floor, immediately captured fans' hearts, delivering that classic lead child blend of hard-boiled justice and stripped-down storytelling. But as the show progressed into Season 2 and then Season 3, a subtle but persistent critique echoed among viewers. The villains sometimes felt lacking. Either underdeveloped or lacking menace, the antagonist didn't quite rise to the level needed to truly challenge Reacher and elevate the stakes. Fast forward to Season 3, and while Alan Ritchson's Reacher continues to punch through enemies with brutal efficiency, the show has found a surprising way to solve this villain problem without even needing Jack front and center in every scene. Enter Neely, Reacher's sharp, no-nonsense former military cop and partner, whose own spin-off is already shaping up to be a game-changer. And a single scene in Reacher Season 3 unmistakably proves that Neely's upcoming show has cracked the code that the Alan Ritchson-led series struggled with, crafting villains that are just as compelling, dangerous, and memorable as its hero. Here's why that one scene changes everything, and why Neely's spin-off is poised to outshine even its parent series. The villain problem in Reacher. To understand the significance of this scene, it helps to revisit the core challenge Reacher faced from the start. Jack Reacher is, by design, a near unstoppable force, a man with unmatched physical prowess, tactical genius, and an unyielding sense of justice. This can be a double-edged sword for storytellers. When your protagonist is practically invincible, how do you build tension and suspense without villains who feel like genuine threats? Early episodes often leaned on villains who were either caricatures or plot devices. Some were forgettable criminals, while others were overly exaggerated stereotypes. It left the audience craving antagonists who could match Reacher in intelligence, ruthlessness, or moral complexity, characters who would push him to his limits, forcing him to adapt, evolve, or even question his methods. The show improved over time, but even in Season 3, this villain ceiling remained a hurdle. That is, until the Neely scene. The scene that changes the game. Without spoiling too much for those still catching up, the scene in question features Neely engaging with an adversary who embodies everything Reacher villains have struggled to be: smart, unpredictable, ruthless, and deeply personal in their motives. Unlike earlier villains who felt like obstacles on Reacher's path, this antagonist operates with precision and layered complexity, forcing Neely to step out of her comfort zone. What stands out immediately is the palpable tension, not just physical, but psychological. The villain isn't just a brute force or a bad guy for bad guys' sake. Instead, they represent a mirror to Neely's own skills and values. This creates stakes that feel intimate and immediate, while still fitting within the broader, high-octane world Reacher fans love. Neely's responses reveal a sharper, more tactical side of the Reacher universe, a reminder that the show's strength lies not just in brute strength, but in wits, strategy, and the gray areas of morality. This scene is a masterclass in villain design, demonstrating how an antagonist can challenge a protagonist on every level without overshadowing the hero. Why this scene shows Neely's spin-off will excel. The brilliance of this moment isn't just that it delivers a better villain. It signals a tonal and narrative shift that the Neely spin-off is already embracing. Here's why that matters. 1. Focus on a different type of protagonist. Jack Reacher's character is a force of nature, direct, explosive, and driven by a very black and white sense of justice. Neely, however, has always been portrayed as the cerebral complement to Reacher's brawn. Her approach is nuanced, calculated, and often more subtle. This naturally lends itself to stories where the villains can be equally complex, playing mind games, setting traps, or operating in the shadows. A Neely-centered show can therefore explore a different style of storytelling, one where tension is built on suspense, psychological warfare, and slow-burning mysteries, rather than pure physical confrontation. The scene in Season 3 teases exactly this kind of storytelling. 2. Villains with depth and motivations. The best antagonists aren't just obstacles, they're characters with their own stories, desires, and moral justifications. This scene's villain isn't evil for evil's sake. Their motivations are personal and tangled with Neagly's own past and values, promising a series where villains can be explored in richer detail. This contrasts with the more straightforward bad guy archetypes that Reacher sometimes fell back on. A spin-off can lean into this, giving viewers villains who feel human, relatable, and sometimes even sympathetic, which makes every confrontation more impactful. 3. Expanding the Reacher universe. The Reacher franchise has a wealth of characters and stories beyond Jack himself. Neagly's spin-off is already positioned to explore this broader universe, from military conspiracies to deep-rooted criminal organizations, all through her unique lens. The scene in Season 3 isn't just a tease for Neagly's character growth, but a strategic narrative device showing the audience what to expect: higher stakes, more intricate plotting, and a new type of villainy that fits Neagly's skill set. It makes the entire Reacher universe feel richer and more textured. How this raises the stakes for Alan Ritchson's Reacher. This isn't a criticism of Alan Ritchson's performance or the existing Reacher series, which has delivered plenty of thrilling moments. But the presence of a well-rounded, formidable villain like the one in Neagly's scene forces a reconsideration of the parent show's villain game. If the spin-off can consistently deliver villains who are multidimensional threats, intellectually and emotionally engaging, the original series will need to evolve beyond pure physicality and action to keep pace. This could mean deeper character-driven arcs for Reacher himself, more morally ambiguous enemies, or higher-stakes conflicts that challenge Jack's core beliefs and methods. What this means for fans. For fans who love the visceral thrills of Reacher, this scene offers a tantalizing glimpse of what's next, a show that balances pulse-pounding action with rich psychological drama. For those who longed for villains that felt more than just obstacles, Neagly's spin-off promises a refreshing change, one where every antagonist encounter is a chess match, every villain has a story, and the danger feels immediate and real. And for the Reacher universe as a whole, this scene cements that it's capable of growth. It proves that even a series built around a larger-than-life hero can deepen its storytelling by introducing villains who challenge everything the hero stands for. Final thoughts. One seemingly small scene in Reacher Season 3 does more than introduce a compelling villain. It marks a turning point. It shows that Neagly's spin-off is already poised to solve the biggest villain problem the Alan Ritchson series has grappled with. By focusing on layered, dangerous, and psychologically complex villains, the spin-off can take the Reacher franchise into new narrative territories. For fans eagerly awaiting more Reacher, this scene is a clear sign that the future looks bright with better villains, richer stories, and a new heroine ready to punch above her weight in a world